Yes guys, welcome back to the George Benson Football Channel. Welcome to my Chelsea versus Sheffield United preview. The match is at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. I'll be going to the game. I'll also be doing a match vlog, so stay tuned to that one tomorrow evening. As soon as the game's done, I'll try and get it uploaded within a couple of hours. Before we get into this one today, I want to let you guys know about something. A few people have been messaging me on Instagram, Twitter, the YouTube comments section saying, George, can you set up a Patreon? I want to contribute to the channel and all of that kind of stuff. So if you don't know what Patreon is, I'll basically leave a link at the top of the description. There's no obligatory obligation. There's no obligation to get involved. It's just something that a lot of people have been asking for, and it's a way for you guys to donate to me in order to fund and support what I'm doing here on the channel, but also to get exclusive content. So I'm going to be doing exclusive Patreon content over there. So go and check the link in the description if that's something you want to get involved in. But as I said, no obligation whatsoever. Let's get into the Chelsea versus Sheffield United match preview. It's a big game. Every single match in the Premier League is a big game. You've got newly promoted clubs coming up. You had Fulham last season who tried something under Jokanovic and it didn't really work. They went straight back down. You had Norwich come up as well. We played against them last week. They gave us some problems. Norwich are a good side. And you've also got Chris Wilder's Sheffield United. These teams are coming up from the Championship and they're taking risks. They're doing things, implementing their own strategies that have got them out of a really difficult league in the Championship, and they're trying to move forward with it in the Premier League. Now, Sheffield United do something that I've not really seen before, and it's quite exciting. So one of the key features that we've got to look at for Sheffield United's play is the way that they integrate their centre-backs into an attacking system. So what you've got on the screen right now is you've got 9 Sheffield United badges, and funnily enough, they resemble Sheffield United players. I thought that maybe not all of us are aware of the Sheffield United players yet and the way they look like and what positions they play in. I know what they are and who they are because, well, I do this football thing for a living, so I kind of need to. But for the sake of this video, we've got Sheffield United badges. You can see there's only 9 because the centre-backs are doing worldy things. They're running forward. They're getting involved with the attacks and they're overloading the wings. So what is this going to do for Chelsea? Well, Emerson and Azpilicueta are going to really need to be involved on the highest part of their game defensively, playing against this kind of Sheffield United system. When the centre-backs are going forward, they're overlapping the wing-backs that overload the wings and get players further forward, and some of the central midfielders are dropping into cover defensively. This can be very difficult for Chelsea to combat in terms of understanding which players are going to make which runs at which time. So Azpilicueta and Emerson, as I've already said once, are going to need to be on their A game this weekend against this kind of Sheffield United attack. However, what it does do for Chelsea, and what I think Chelsea are very well set up for, is it enables us to counter. You've got the likes of Mateo Kovacic, who's been driving forward a lot more recently in comparison to what we saw from him last season. He's not afraid to get the ball, dribble with it, and take it forward. You've also got the likes of Ross Barkley, who you can see on the screen right now, who does have that ability to play a nice ball clipped over the top for the striker or one of Chelsea's wingers to run onto, and he's got it in his locker to play a pass, a bit like Cesc Fabregas did so many times for Chelsea, Barcelona and Arsenal over the years. He's got that killer ball in his locker. We need to see it this weekend. So taking a look at both Kovacic and Ross Barkley in this system for Chelsea, or against this system for Chelsea, the counter-attack is going to open up a lot of opportunities, and I think one of Chelsea's key players this weekend is going to be Christian Pulisic. I feel as though, compared to Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, obviously those two have had the highest plaudits so far in Chelsea's season, well, because they're our top scorers. They've both scored 2 goals. They're academy graduates who have been given the opportunity under Frank Lampard, and they're grabbing it with both hands or both feet and a head and a chest and a knee. All the things you can use in football apart from your hands. It's kind of a silly phrase to use, really, isn't it? They've taken the opportunity and they've been the standout players so far. Christian Pulisic is getting more involved in the game. I think I was a little bit too critical of Pulisic last week. I don't think I gave him enough credit for the movement he did do. I was more criticising the movements that he didn't make that I wanted him to make, having seen the game from quite close on the touchline. So Christian Pulisic, he's getting more involved. He got an assist last week, and I think this kind of game against the Sheffield United team where they like to drive players forward from defensive positions onto the wings, that counter-attack, and we're going to see Christian Pulisic running at the Sheffield United defenders. It's something you want to see, and I think this weekend he could get his first goal. So having taken a look at the way Sheffield United like to play, McBurnie, they do like to block out that midfield. There's always going to be about 5 men in the Sheffield United midfield at one time. They play with a 2-striker system, and one of their key players is the Scottish forward Oliver McBurnie. Something that we're going to see from Chelsea is a bit similar to what we saw against Leicester. I expect the team to come out and be very, very intense for the opening 20 minutes of the game. I think the more matches we've played, the more Chelsea are going to be accustomed to maintaining this kind of intensity for longer periods. And the question is going to be, can Sheffield United continue with their usual game plan against the Chelsea side who have got some very good quality players playing a very high intensity game? That is where the game is going to be won for Chelsea. If we can wear down the Sheffield United defence, play with this high intensity, get people forward on the counter-attack, a lot of opportunities are going to be made. And as you can see on the screen right now, in terms of the average possession, Chelsea are averaging the majority of possession in their games, Sheffield United slightly under. And in terms of opportunities created and shots had on goal, Chelsea are leagues above Sheffield United so far this season. Despite being on the same amount of points, Chelsea have created and had at least 20 more shots than Sheffield United have had this season. So expect Chelsea to create a lot of opportunities, and I certainly think it's going to be up to the likes of Pulisic, Ross Barkley, and probably Jorginho to unlock that defence. So let's go back to Mateo Kovacic again for one moment, a player who I think has been absolutely magnificent for Chelsea in pre-season and in the opening 3 games of the season. In terms of early season form, after the first international break, it's pretty much you get an understanding of what you've got from the 4 matches you play, and then after the international break, Frank Lampard should be getting a better idea as to who his starting 11 is. Of course, at the moment, we've got the issue with the world-class N'Golo Kante, who keeps picking up little injuries every week and keeps aggravating this ankle injury, the leg injury that he's had, and I think Frank Lampard does need to wrap him up in cotton wool. He's not been called up to the France team, which is good of France to not get him involved because, well, he's clearly not fully fit, and it gives him a couple of weeks at Cobham to get that fitness back up so that he's ready for the big matches we've got after the international break. We've got Liverpool like a week after we get back, so that's going to be exciting. We've also got Carabao Cup games, we've got the start of the Champions League. If you haven't seen that video, I go through Chelsea's chances in a previous video I uploaded today, so check that out. It's a card on the screen. So with N'Golo Kante injured, Mateo Kovacic's part that he plays within this Chelsea team is massive. He's one of the best ball-winning midfielders in the starting 11 that we could see without N'Golo Kante. His tackling is very good. We've seen that he's actually unlocked this new passing range that we maybe didn't see as much last season because he's a player playing with a newfound confidence. As well as that, he's getting forward, and he got an assist last week. He's not known for his goals and assists, but I think Kovacic is going to have more opportunities in this game against Sheffield United. So because of this Sheffield United system where they overload the wings, I think one of the obvious worries for Chelsea is whether or not Emerson and Azpilicueta are going to be able to deal with that overload. It's going to be up to the attacking players, the likes of Pulisic, Mason Mount, to drop back in order to then be able to counter-attack. They've got the speed to be able to do so, and we've definitely got the players who can support them in that counter-attacking style. However, Chelsea are at home, and it's very important that Azpilicueta in particular, he was the birthday boy this week, El Capitano, he's got a big part to play in this game, and I think it could be a struggle with that overload, but after his performance against Norwich, I'm confident that Azpilicueta can keep Sheffield United out. So I said it against Norwich last week, and sadly, it didn't happen. The clean sheet, it is the holy grail at the moment for Chelsea. We've not even looked like keeping a clean sheet in the opening weeks of the season. We conceded 4 at United. 1 could have been more against Leicester, and 2 against newly promoted Norwich. I really think that if Chelsea can nullify this attacking tactical system that Sheffield United like to employ, if we can do that, I expect a clean sheet against Sheffield United. Oliver McBurnie's very good. They've got McGoldrick going forward as well. They know where the goal is, but I think Chelsea should definitely be looking for 3 points and a clean sheet in this game. If you saw my Premier League predictions for this week, you'll know I've gone with a 3-0 Chelsea. I think that the system that we can play with the players that we've got to nullify what Sheffield United bring is very favourable for Chelsea in a match like this. Sheffield United are obviously going to create some issues, but I think Chelsea have got enough for the clean sheet and also for the win. So as for my starting 11, I've gone with Kepa in goal, I've gone with Emerson at left back, I've gone with Azpilicueta at right back. The centre back positions, I said it last week, Rudiger sadly wasn't fit. I think he will be ready for this game against Sheffield United. It's a nice home game against the team that was promoted last season. This will be a good game for Rudiger to get back into. He's had minutes for the development squad, he's had minutes on the training ground, he looks as though he's ready and feeling sharp again. So Rudiger alongside Andreas Christensen. For the first 3 weeks of the season, I've been debating with myself, like, do we take out Zuma? Do we take out Christensen? And I think that Zouma and Rudiger would complement each other very well. They're both very big, strong centre-backs. But I think Christensen's agility and the ability that he's got to be able to play that ball forward could be key for Chelsea, and especially if we're looking for someone to stick a ball over the top to counter-attack Sheffield United, get Pulisic and Mount running down the wings, use their industry and creativity to get something into Tammy Abraham. I think Christensen's passing could be key for Chelsea in this game. So I've gone with Christensen and Rudiger in the centre-back positions with Jorginho in front, screening that defence. So in front of Jorginho, I've gone with Barkley and Kovacic. I think both players are going to have a big say into Chelsea controlling that midfield that Sheffield United like to pack out so tightly, and I think that Barkley and Kovacic are a good combination to do that, considering that Pedro is still injured apparently and he's not going to be fully fit. And also Willian, I've not been fully satisfied with what I've seen from Willian in the recent games he's played in the Chelsea shirt, so I think Ross Barkley deserves another chance. I think he grew into the game against Norwich last week. He wasn't at his best, but his statistics weren't bad in that game either. So Kovacic and Ross Barkley in front, with Mason Mount on the left-hand side, Christian Pulisic on the right, and with that ability to interchange and get involved in the middle, get crosses into Tammy Abraham, who I fully expect to bag yet another goal to add to his impressive tally of 2 and 3. So let's move away from the kind of tactical, who's going to start, how are we going to win the game kind of thing. I think I've made that quite clear as to what I think about that in the first stages of this video. This is a massive game for Chelsea in the sense of, before an international break, you want to be in the best momentum that you possibly can be. Of course, the 2 wins and then a break isn't ideal. However, we've got some very exciting things to look forward to after the international break. Reece James is looking like he's getting closer to a return. Callum Hudson-Odoi, we've not yet seen the announcement of the contract, which seems like it's been going on for a bloody eternity, but he's going to be ready after the international break, maybe a couple of weeks or so after. And then you've got Ruben, who's going to be back in about 5 weeks. So Chelsea have got a lot of players to come back, and it's going to give Frank a selection headache. And this match against Sheffield United is maybe one of the last chances that Ross Barkley will get in the starting 11 before Ruben returns, because I fully expect Ruben to come in and displace Ross Barkley at the moment. I think he has a lot more rounded game and a lot stronger presence in the Chelsea midfield. So big game for Ross Barkley. It's a chance for him to show what he can do. I want to see him shooting from outside the area again. I want to see Chelsea being creative. I don't want it to be slow. I really need to see a lot more movement from the wing players this week. I think Mason Mount has been brilliant at always moving, always being an option for the player in possession. Pulisic is getting a lot better at that as well. He's got a lot of great movement, and we need to see it a bit earlier so that we can get the opportunities into the box the same way we did last week for Tammy Abraham's goal, and when we also created a couple of other opportunities as well. I expect Chelsea to get 3 points. It's a big game. It's a great opportunity to make up some points on some other teams at the top. 7 points in the first 4, considering United have already dropped points, so have Arsenal, so have Spurs. Liverpool and City are the teams at the top at the moment, and I think we've got to be looking at those other teams as to the ones we need to directly compete with. So, Spurs and Arsenal, they're playing one another. Chelsea have got a chance to win tomorrow, and it could put us in a very good position come the first international break. So yeah, I'm enjoying my brand new Eco coffee cup. My favourite coffee shop in Newbury, they've just launched these new Eco cups. So gone and bought myself one. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I've got a Patreon page now. The link to that is in the description. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because I'm going to be at the game tomorrow and I'm going to be getting to Fulham at about 10 o'clock in the morning in order to make the best match vlog that I possibly can to be in your sub box at about, let's call it 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. 6 Things We Learned will be out on Sunday. I'm probably going to film it on the boat in Amsterdam. That's going to be great. Or I might do it somewhere in Fulham after the game against Sheffield United. Going to be finishing about 5, so I'll have a bit of daylight left before we get into those wintry months. They're just around the corner. It's the final game before the first international break. I'm excited for it. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. What do you think we need to see tomorrow from Chelsea? Is there any changes to my starting 11 that I showed you that you disagree with? Who's going to start up front? Surely Tammy's done enough now with 2 goals last week to lock him into that position. I've not even questioned it today. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love you all. I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.